Okay, shake hands with beef. So in this video I'm going to be sticking to the Brown album version of the track, which is pretty much identical to how it's done live, only the record version has particular fills in it. So he plays this one on the 6-string fretted. He doesn't use the high C string, but he does make use of the low B string. Open, in fact, a little bit. So if you have a 5-string, you should be able to play this without a problem at all. But this song is pretty 4-string friendly. You can play this song on a 4-string in drop D tuning without much of a problem. This song is really just composed of 2 riffs. So in this video, for each riff, I'm going to go over, the 5-string version with the low B string, and then the 4-string in drop D tuning. But this song doesn't make use of the G string either. So you could take your 4th string and down tune it to B, E, A, D, and then play it, like how he does with the 6th string. But anyway, the main riff's going to go like this. Alright, so we're going to start with a slap on B5, and then a slap on a B8. So that first note there, that B5 slap, that's going to be a short note. That's not going to be held and extended. Now, the song does sound like this. But that held is actually Lur's guitar. Now in the track, Les holds that first E note down like a couple times, but like at least 90% of the time it's just a short. Okay, so far we have B5 and then 8, and then the next 5 notes are going to be quickly in a row, and those notes are open B, hammer on to 5, and then a muted note. And it's not so much of a slap as it is just getting your hand down there on the strings ready for the pop. A pop at A7. So after that pop, we're going to quickly jump down to B3 to slap a note. So that's going to be a fast, hard pop to a fast, hard slap down here at B3. That's going to be very fast, to where that pop just barely squeaks out. Like you can barely hear the, it just sounds like a muted note. So altogether, that move is going to be like, alright, so that's the first half of the riff, and for the second half of the riff, we have a slap at B5, and then a pop at A7, and then a slap at B5. And then we're going to move up here and then do a open B, hammer on to 8. And then we're going to do that same move from the ending of, the first half of this riff. So all in all, part 2 to this riff is going to be like... So in many live performances of this, in part 2 of this riff, instead of that, it is going to just be 3 slaps on B5, so that's going to go more like this. Okay, and now for the other riff. And then later down to... Alright, so we're going to be fretting an octave at E6, D8. And we're going to do this sort of pluck, pop sort of thing with the right hand. Sort of like in Sgt. Baker. Alright, now we're going to move down here and slap E5. And then we're going to do something which is very similar to the, the move at the end of the main riff. only we're not going to be jumping down after that. So we're going to slap open E, hammer onto 6, and then muted note, getting your hand on the strings ready for the pop at, you know, D8. And then slap E6 right after that. And then slap E5. So when you're doing that, you know, keep your finger held on D8 to sustain, you know, the note from the pop. So later we're going to be playing that same exact thing down a whole step. So he actually plays that up here on the B string, like, but yeah, I just prefer to do it on E and D. So when he says to B, we're going to slap a B3 and then just let that ring. So like, so around 1:30 we have this fill here. So what I do for that is pop D8, hammer onto 10, pull off, and then tap A10, and then slap A9. So around 1:40 we have another fill, and to me the note sounds like G15, or if you're on a 4-string in B-A-D tuning, D20. And then some kind of slide down. I'm not sure what that note is, but it sounds like just some slide down. And then at 2:43 we have 2 slaps up here at B15. And then at 2:53 we have what to me sounds like a E15, either a slap or a pop, I'm not really sure. Okay, now to go over those riffs on the 4-string and drop D tuning. Okay, so we're going to slap E2, and then E5, and then slap open E, which, you know, is D, but you know what I mean. Then hammer onto 2, and then put your hand down there on the strings, creating that kind of muted note, ready for the pop. And then kind of, you know, you can pop with your index finger, just up an octave here at D2. You're kind of switching like pressure though, because when you do that first hammer on, you don't want to be hammering on all the strings, because then you're kind of playing in there as well. Then try to quickly release pressure on D2, just to kill that popped note pretty quickly. But don't like yank your finger off the strings, because then that would kind of create like a pull off kind of thing. So altogether that's like, and then E2 slap, D2 pop, E2 slap again, and then open E, hammer onto 5, and then that same move as before. Okay, and now for the other riff. So this is pretty much going to be just like before, you know, on 5-string version. Only when you're fretting that octave, that's not going to be E6 D8, it's going to be E8 D8. And then, you know, moving that shape around. So, yeah, that's about it. Shake hands to beef.